Now, of course, gruesome Newsom only apologized because he got caught. Here he was groveling today. Good Lord.
I was trying to be gracious and took the mask off for a brief second, but no, I encourage people to continue to wear them.
Yeah, brief second. It was like 350,000 seconds. Very brief, each and every one of them. There were 70,000 in attendance at the game, you nitwit. Did you not? And by the way, 69,000 of them, they hate you. The other 1,000, they didn't know who you were. Didn't you think anyone would notice? Well, let's talk about it with tonight's party panel. We've got attorney and co-host of Outnumbered on the Fox News channel, Emily Compagno is back. I love your earrings. We've got Democrat strategist and former political director of Priorities USA, Kristal Knight, is here. And 2020 Libertarian vice presidential candidate, a man of the future, maybe even from the future, Spike Cohen. Welcome, everyone. Oh, Spike, look at you.
Thank you, Kennedy.
You're like
Thank you.
Larry King, God rest his soul. All right, so I will start with you, Emily, because you are obviously from the Golden State. You know this hypocrisy very well, and people have seen enough of these elected officials not abiding by the rules that they strictly enforce. So does this signal the end of the mask mandate in California?
You would think so, because a logical extrapolation from this would be that he can't move past this, right? That the blatant hypocrisy that he showed yesterday would lead to some type of uproar where he would see the common sense. But unfortunately, having suffered under his watch as a San Francisco and California resident under his tenure both as mayor and governor, I don't think he's going to learn. This is his par for the course. He has always been that elitist person living in a bubble where the rules really didn't ever apply to him, and that applied to him personally as well as professionally throughout all of these decades. And I think the biggest thing actually that I see here is that what this shows is that it is simply impossible to carry on a semblance of a normal life while truly being masked at every second. So if he would make masking optional, if he would say, okay, yes, we accept the negative test results and then we're going to let you in, make it so that people can comply. But the rigidity with which he sets these rules, the draconianness with which he says there's absolutely zero flexibility, that is what is so hard to comply with. And that is why he failed himself.
But there is a mask mandate at SoFi, Kristal. If it's a venue with more than 5,000 spectators, then everyone has to be in a mask. Oh, look, there's no one in a mask. And there's more people not wearing masks, which is fine because at this point in the pandemic, you know what you're dealing with. You've either been vaccinated or you've made the choice not to. So you know the risks, you know what's going to happen. We all know people who've succumbed to the virus and those who have fought it. So it's time that we let people make those choices for themselves, because I'll tell you what's happening. Californians are getting very frustrated having to follow all of these rules, having to spend all this time, energy, and money complying, losing their businesses, and then they see the people who make these rules not even following them. So what do you say to the frustrated?
Well, I say to the frustrated that I hear you, I understand you, but the last time I checked, you know, stadiums were outdoors, and if there's open airspace in a suite, we don't know that the governor, Magic Johnson and others were asked to show their vaccination card beforehand. And really and truly, we have to take his comments at face value. If he took the mask off to take a picture and put it back on, obviously that's not what we're talking about. We're only talking about the moments that were shown with him having his mask off. And so I think instead of masking, it really has to be a situational thing. If you're in a space where you're outdoor or there's open air moving in and out of a suite, which it appeared that they were in, then I think that that's a situation where it might be okay to take it off.
Not according to the law in LA County and Los Angeles at SoFi Stadium, because there are more than 5,000 people in attendance. Everyone there has to be in a mask. That's the rule. Those are the rules
that they made. Does it say at all times? Does it say at all times?
Unless you're eating or drinking, and that's why I said Gavin Newsom showed up with invisible snacks from French Laundry, and he was apparently nibbling on them the entire time. Spike, what do you see here, other than no mask?
Well, I mean, another day, another time of us coming on to talk about politicians who have issued the most restrictive orders supposedly to protect us from COVID, routinely flouting those orders whenever they see fit. I know, what a great time to say flouting. Yeah. Obviously, we already know that politicians and Magic Johnson think that they are above the rules and the orders and everything that they put on us. That has always been the case. Those in power and their elite friends, the rules are for us and not for them. But once again, this shows the utter hypocrisy behind these orders. If Gavin Newsom and all of these other politicians, if they thought that these orders were necessary to protect our lives and their lives, they would be following them even if they weren't the law, because that's what's necessary to protect everyone's lives. The fact that they are routinely flouting the orders shows that they recognize that this is all performance theater. And what they're doing is, this isn't about safety. Yeah. It's about conditioning us into complying with things that we all recognize aren't actually necessary. And as long as we continue to let them do this, they're going to continue doing it to us.
Yes, out of an abundance of caution. My chubby arse.